Can you make pepper plants grow faster? They can seem to grow really slowly, especially compared to their sibling, the tomato. Most of this is out of our control. The plants are going to grow at their own rate based on the environment in the garden, but there are a few things you can do to help your peppers grow and ripen as quickly as possible. The first topic is fertilizer, and before I get into that, a quick thank you to Spot and Tango for sponsoring this video. Our dog Sadie is a bit of a picky eater, but she absolutely loved Unkibble from day one. And it's no surprise because it's made with human-grade fresh ingredients and the results have been pretty great. She dives right in at dinner time, her energy seems to be better, and unlike those premium fresh frozen brands that take up half your freezer, this is shelf stable and about 40% more affordable. Plus, there are multiple recipes to choose from and they personalize a feeding plan based on your specific dog. So if you're also a pet parent that has a picky eater and you've been trying all the toppers and mix-ins, try Unkibble and see if they like it as much as Sadie does. Save 60% off with code GEEKY60, and if your pup doesn't like it, you can get your money back. Now, back to the video. Okay, so fertilizer, how often you do it and which type of fertilizer you use. It's pretty complicated. There are a million different options to choose from, but it's also one of the areas where you can make the biggest difference in how quickly and well your plants grow. First, I want to distinguish between the two main types of fertilizer: slow release organic fertilizers and synthetic liquid fertilizer. Organic fertilizers that are slow release are basically granulated or chopped up pieces of organic materials. These can include things like feathers, bones, fish products, alfalfa, and other plant material. Basically all different materials that, when broken down, give your plants the nutrients they need to grow. Now, broken down is a key term to pay attention to here because these nutrients need to be broken down before the plants can actually access them. So in most cases, your slow release organic fertilizers aren't going to feed your plants immediately. They need time for the beneficial organisms in your soil to consume them and break them down. Liquid fertilizer, and specifically synthetic liquid fertilizers, are immediately available to your plants. They're usually super concentrated. A couple of teaspoons into a gallon of water is all you need to feed your plants, and those nutrients are already in the form that your plants can access. The end result is, as soon as you water with a fertilizer like this one, your plants have that nutrient boost immediately. So it might seem obvious that liquid fertilizer is a better option, but that's not necessarily the case. We use a combination of both depending on how we're growing our peppers. For this in-ground bed, believe it or not, we've used all slow release nutrients and we have amazing results here. The key is to add them at the right time. So add them early in the season. We add our first amendments, being compost and slow release organic fertilizer, in March, and then again in April. So the soil is well prepped and those nutrients have already broken down somewhat by the time we transplant into the garden. Where liquid fertilizer can be really helpful is when you notice a nutrient deficiency or if you're growing in containers. After years of growing lots of peppers in ground and in containers, I've noticed that our container plants really seem to benefit from a chemical fertilizer. I think the reason is that the soil you use in pots is not true soil. It's based on things like peat moss or cocoa coir, which are actually dead plant material. So it's not a true soil. It's not going to be as good an environment as native soil is for those beneficial organisms and bacteria that help to break down organic fertilizer. So the chemical fertilizer feeds the roots immediately. There's no need for that sort of middleman to break down the nutrients for you. If you notice your leaves going a little bit pale green, or if you notice yellow leaves down at the base of the plant, that's a good sign that you need to add some nitrogen, and a liquid fertilizer will do that as quickly as possible. Now, how often should you feed your plants? I'm a proponent of fertilizing container plants pretty frequently. Every week or up to 2 weeks is as long as I would go between feedings. Those container plants are relying 100% on what you add to the soil to get all of their nutrition. So it's really easy for those nutrients to wash out when you water heavily, or if it rains, you need to replace those nutrients pretty frequently. For in-ground beds, we do it less often, but at least once a month we'll come out and fertilize our plants in ground, even if we don't notice a deficiency. These plants have no yellowing whatsoever, but we still fertilize on a regular schedule because, as you can see, they're really big and they're hungry plants using a lot of nutrients, and it's always better to be ahead and make sure the nutrients are there in the soil before your plants show you that they're lacking them. If you're new to gardening and you want to learn our simple process of growing amazing pepper plants every single year, download our free pepper growing guide. It's a quick, no-nonsense guide to growing peppers from seed to harvest. And if you didn't know, we have a channel dedicated to growing peppers called Pepper Geek, so go subscribe there after you watch this video. The next thing you can do to make sure your peppers grow as quickly as possible is to optimize the light exposure that they're getting. Now, peppers love light. They will grow best with full light exposure, but there are some cases where you might want to experiment with a little bit less light. First of all, if you don't have a location that is full sun, that's perfectly fine. Peppers can survive and even thrive on partial shade, but they do need a certain amount of direct sun exposure. Aim for around 5 to 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. Anything lower than that and you may notice slowed growth. Some varieties actually benefit from some shade, especially if you live in a hotter climate. This here is a ricotta pepper that comes from a relatively cool climate compared to most other pepper varieties. So it likes cooler temperatures, and some afternoon shade during the hottest parts of the day can help provide that. Indoors, when you're growing seedlings, window light is usually just not enough. Grow lights make a huge difference in how quickly and how broadly your pepper plants will grow early on, which will prepare them better for the season ahead. And again, shade cloth is a good option to help cool off the plants, block out some of that light in really hot climates. And one other related fact is that when you grow plants in less light, you may notice that the leaves get much bigger. You can see this massive leaf lower down underneath the canopy of our ricotta pepper, about as big as my hand is, and that's because it receives less light, and so leaves will become more broad, trying to absorb as much of the available light as possible. Okay, the next topic is temperature, and this is a huge factor for the rate of growth. Your plants are going to grow a lot faster if they're in that optimal temperature range. Peppers come from a warm climate. They come from basically near the equator, so they like warm temperatures, but they don't like it too hot, and they definitely can't handle cold temperatures. The optimal range is between 75 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit for most cultivars. There are some types of peppers that prefer it a little bit cooler, and there are other varieties like jalapenos that can handle a little bit more heat. But generally speaking, the way I like to think about it is if you walk outside and you're comfortable, or maybe it's a little bit hot and sweaty, your peppers are probably happy. Now, above 95 degrees Fahrenheit or so, your plants will start to stress, and you'll notice that in a few different ways. Number one, you might notice flowers dropping off or even some fruits falling off of the plant. This is just a defense mechanism. The plant is overly stressed, and to preserve its energy and basically survive, it might drop some flowers. Also, the pollen quality in those flowers decreases, so the chances of actually getting fruits off of your plant goes down, and metabolic processes like photosynthesis decrease as well. But generally speaking, as soon as temperatures come back down, your peppers will resume normal growth, so hot temperatures aren't as big of a deal as cold ones. These plants just don't have the hardware to deal with cold temperatures, and anything below 55 degrees Fahrenheit and your plants are basically going to stall growth entirely. And if it gets down to freezing or a little bit below, your plants will probably just die. So what can you do about temperature? It doesn't seem like there's much to do about it outdoors, but there are a few things. And number one is to just pay attention to the temperature. Look at the overnight forecast specifically and make sure it's not dropping below that 55 degree Fahrenheit mark. And if it is, you can cover your plants with a row cover. That's going to insulate them from the cold, and it can extend your season early on and into the fall. And if you live in a colder climate where you really struggle to get above that 55 degree mark in the spring, you might want to invest in some form of structural element or row cover to help your plants grow faster and give them enough time to produce a full crop. If it's going to be too hot, shade cloth is a great option. We have some on the bed behind here, which provides about 50% shade, giving the plants enough light to grow throughout the day, but it reduces the temperature by a few degrees. And one other note on temperature, soil temperature is just as important as the ambient temperature of the air. So if you want to give your plants a quick start early in the season, you can use black plastic, and this is especially useful in cooler climates to warm up that soil early in the season and help your plants establish more quickly early on and grow faster. Next up is avoiding stress of any kind for your plants. Stress equals slowed growth, and I want to go through some areas where you may run into stress for your plants. Number one is hardening off. That's the transition from indoor growth to outside. If you do this too rapidly and you move your plants from their grow lights directly into full sun, you'll notice stress. It's going to slow down the plant's growth rate, and basically just set them back. So doing this gradually is the way to go over the course of 1 or 2 weeks, slowly increasing the amount of light exposure over that time. Another form of stress that's common is transplant shock, and that can come in the form of disturbing the roots when you're moving your plants. That can stress your peppers significantly, so when it comes time to move from one container to a larger one or into the ground, try to avoid disturbing the roots unless they're really entangled. There's no need to rip those root systems apart. They'll figure it out on their own, and you'll probably be better off avoiding that stress. Another form of stress is inconsistent watering and fertilizing. We talked about fertilizer, but you want to keep the soil evenly moist without waterlogging it, especially if you have clay-heavy soil that doesn't drain well. You don't want to overwater and have that soil be waterlogged. That can cause root stress, which will slow down plant growth. But too little water is not good either. You don't want to wait for your plants to start drooping their leaves before you water them. Make sure you're somewhere in the middle. Check the soil regularly with a finger and keep that soil evenly moist. And pest management. You can see we have some evidence of pest damage on this plant right here. This is from beetles. We deal with this every year, and we've learned some techniques to reduce the stress on the plants, but that's just our unique situation. You might have a different pest problem that impacts your peppers, like pepper weevils down south, or aphids pretty much anywhere. Reducing that stress and doing the right things like planting companions, flowers, and other plants that attract beneficial insects that can help deal with pest problems is a really good way to reduce the damage and stress that might otherwise slow down your plant's growth. The next thing you can do to help your plants grow faster is timing your plantings. This is another highly actionable item that you can do to help your plants grow really fast. First is when you plant your pepper seeds. If you're growing from seed, most newer gardeners are going to plant those seeds way too early. They think they need lots of time indoors before they come outside, but over years of experimentation, we've slowly inched up our planting time. So we plant now between 4 and 6 weeks before our last frost date. We used to do it as early as 10 weeks before our last frost date. The problem with planting too early is that your plants are going to be stuck inside for far too long in small containers, becoming root bound, where the roots are just circling around that container looking for new soil to inhabit and grow into, but there's nothing there. The plants get stressed out and stalled. You end up with slower growth when they move outside. When it comes time to move outside, a lot of gardeners will plant out too early as well. Your last frost date is far too soon to be planting outside. There's still a risk of cool overnight temperatures that can stunt or slow your plant's growth. So it's much better to wait to plant your peppers outside until at least 2 or 3 weeks after your last frost date. That way the soil has had time to warm up and your plants can just continue growing right away outside. They'll be comfortable and warm like they were inside, and they don't have to worry about cold shock slowing them down. And the final thing you can do is give your garden the time it needs to grow. Peppers aren't miracle plants, they are slow growing. You need to give them time, and one of my favorite times to come into the garden is after I've gone away for a few days or even a week on vacation. Coming back and seeing the transformation in just a week's time is pretty fascinating, especially in the midsummer when everything's growing rapidly. If you get into the habit of coming into your garden once or even twice a day, it can be really hard to see the progress that's actually being made. And if you just come into the garden a little bit less frequently, you'll notice a huge difference in your plants after just a few days. So I know that's not actually an actionable item. It's just some advice to help you see things as they truly are. Your plants maybe aren't growing all that slowly. Maybe you're just checking on them too much. One other quick thing I wanted to touch on is, can you speed up the ripening rate of your peppers? And unfortunately, the answer here is not really. You can't speed up this chemical process. There are a few studies that have shown that certain chemical sprays can speed up the color changing effect on pepper plants, but those were done in greenhouse settings. They're not really applicable to your backyard gardener. But one thing I will recommend is, if a frosty night is approaching, it's late fall, and you want to get those last few peppers to finish up changing color, you can uproot your entire plant, bring it indoors to a warmer place and hang it upside down. Then spray the root system with some water just to keep it alive for a few days or even weeks longer, just giving enough time for those peppers to change. Don't forget to check out Pepper Geek, our channel dedicated to growing peppers. Thanks for watching Geeky Greenhouse, and I'll see you soon.